Hello, everybody. Look at that. On time. I finally kind of figured this out somewhat. I'm not still that good at it, but I am getting there. How is everybody today? You know what's really weird? Through my headphones, before I turn on StreamYard, there's absolutely no sound. It's absolutely perfect. The minute I go into StreamYard, you hear that little bit of buzz in the back. So, can everybody hear me okay? I know you guys are a few seconds behind me. Bay Area Rich, Peggy, MPN, Mr. Mick. Cool. Glad everybody is here. It is really, really happening. So, you guys can hear me though, right? Yes, no? I can't tell. Okay. Thank you, Peggy. So today, again, hey, Brian. Thank you, Rich. Not going to sit here at the desk and I don't want to step toes on Johnny's stuff. We're going to go to the bench and we're going to talk everything over at the bench. So I do have to switch mics for that, and that one's going to be a little noisy. Hold on, I have to move it down. Okay. I'm going to turn it on, and we're going to go to the bench. Burnt relic. All right, I'll be right back. All right, can you hear me? I mean, you can hear this thing. There, that's a little better. You can hear that okay, though? All right. Okay. Now, what I wanted to talk about, I invited Laz. Well, I told him that I was going live. He's like, cool. I don't know if he's home. But because this is his brother's guitar, I was going to send him an invite to the show, which would be funny because I've never had a guest on here before. So, but I will do that. Well, actually, Peggy, it's done. Other than him, which he shipped it today, the tremolo for this, and a set of strings. And everything should be here. I think he sent it 3 days. So it should be here like Thursday. So, this thing was a total freaking wreck. I hate to say it, but it was. Let me move this camera a little bit. Tell me if that's any better. So, okay. Because again, remember, I'm still extremely new at all this. As far as this side of it, trying to run the show. Okay, this thing was terrible. I guess his brother bought. from what I know, his brother bought it new sometime in mid to late 80s. It was Korean-made BC Rich. It is a platinum series, but I guess it was cheap, and it did not have a recessed back section, as you remember from showing it on Johnny's show. They had tried to chisel it out, hammer and chisel, and then like there's extra cut here from the original tremolo. It was like a Floyd, or I mean a Strat style tremolo. So I didn't want to go clear back here and take that out, so I kind of left that there. And it was funny because Laz is like, okay, don't remove any decals. So as you could see, I did not do that. And then after I get the tremolo and stuff back on, that'll go back in to complete the Megadeth thing. The PV Power decal is partly on the neck plate here. I didn't take that off. So the trick was, according to Laz, was I need you to rebuild this guitar without it looking like it was rebuilt. So that was kind of a challenge. I mean, this wasn't like a relic guitar. I actually had to go and fix severe screw-ups, both from BC Rich factory in Korea and from whoever chiseled all this out. So the first thing is, Laz sent it to me, the neck was off of it, and so when I started figuring out where the studs go for the mounts, I noticed they were actually like here, down here, here and here, like just basically on the other side to where they are now. And I'm like, what? That would have put the strings, let me represent the string with this old solder. That works just fine. So with the original tremolo that they put on it, the string would have been like that. This one would have been about right there, and this one would have been right on the edge. And then this one down about like that. And I was like, what the heck? And I thought, well, okay, they screwed it up when they did everything. But I found out that was factory. So it left from whatever factory it was made in Korea like that. So the pickups were in line with the neck, but the tremolo was off. So that tells me, and before I knew anything more about it, I told Laz, I said, okay, with this being screwed up, I'm saying this was never really playable at all, because the strings would have been off, so it wouldn't have been centered over. I mean, yeah, you could still hear it through the pickups, I mean, but it wouldn't have been right on the neck. And then the tremolo job they did was without a locking nut. So I told Lana, I said it either had to be almost completely unplayable in the beginning, and then whoever took a hammer and chisel to it, which they did do, I said they just even made it worse. I said, so it was never playable, never stayed in tune, and there's no way in hell it could have been intonated right. And Laz was like, yeah, pretty much. So it hung on the wall for years. But I guess his brother bought it new, or practically new, and he did all this stickers and all this, and Laz like, that's my brother's attitude right there. So, with all that said, I had to, yeah, that's what it looks like. It was done on a bed in Oklahoma. I had to plug these holes, realign everything, center it where it should be, and then I had to make this original. Then I had to make it a little bit bigger and a little bit deeper to get rid of all the stuff that was messed up in here. There's still like some wood here chipped out, but it's not affecting anything. So, I mean, it's just, and I didn't want to make it pristine because it was like, I don't want it to look like it's been repaired. I want it to look like it's always been like this. So when I was taking the pickups out, the bridge pickup, actually none of the 3 pickups had any type of marking on, not even a B or an N or any, a bridge or neck, nothing. They were all plain. So I said, there's no way, they couldn't told if they sounded great because the guitar was practically unplayable. Now, I don't know if someone added this switch in or not. I have no idea. But you have a 5-way switch here, tone, volume, and then this 2-way switch here. So I took this pickup out, so we're getting rid of it. I had a Duncan design, so we'll throw that in there. And then the 2 neck pickups, I unscrewed them, and when I pulled them out, it's like the wires just came out of them, and they weren't even soldered. They were soldered wire. I don't know how well this is going to show, but if you look, this wire comes from the factory with a little bit of solder. It's called tinned. It's already tinned. But see how clean that looks? The wires going into those pickups were just stuck like that. They were never soldered. So that was, this one came out. I thought, man. So I took this one out, same thing. Both wires just slid right out. So they were just wedged in there. Thought, man, this is really, really terrible. So I looked around, and I had 2 single coils that somewhat fit in here. Now here's the catch. These single coils are shaped like this, except for right here they kind of arch out a little bit and arch back. What I had to do, because the cuts for this are straight like this, that arch that's not cut in there for that. So I literally had to take these and clip away at these 2 on this side on both of them enough, even into the wiring, and then put sealer on it where the wiring goes in to the pickup itself to get those down in that slot, because I did not want to alter the body any more than I had to down here, because I already had to do this more than needed to be, but I had to cover all that mess up. So I didn't worry about trimming everything just right, because it was like, make this look like it's just always looked like this. So I got those finally in after about an hour total of working on both of them, and then getting them in, getting the wires fed. But meanwhile I did shield paint all 3 cavities. I cleaned both pots. I shielded in here. I ran the wires, and then on this, I got it tied up there. The yellow wire, this yellow wire and white wire are new, attached down in there to get to here. This switch is wired just like it came, the other pickup came off of it. There was no input jack in it whatsoever, so I got an input jack in it, and then I had to find I had one black plastic cover, so I had to put it on and then make it look like it was there forever. So I'm getting pretty good at this relicking stuff. So that, looks like that's been there from the 80s. So I got all this done, and then I initially put that purple color felt in here, which is somewhere. I don't know if I have any more of it or not. Yeah, right here. So this color, because I thought it kind of looked cool, plus it matched this decal pretty close. Well, Laz said his brother wanted the black, so I had to peel it out and go back with the black. But again, you know, this whole thing was to fix this, then make it look like it's never been repaired. And all that other stuff has never been wrong with it. So, crazy as that seems. So I got all that done. Did the neck. I spent a total, I don't even know how long I spent on the neck. I had, the truss rod wasn't working, so I had to get it to break free without actually breaking it. That took 30 minutes, because again, you just can't crank on it. I didn't want it to snap, because then I'd have to pull the fretboard off, replace the truss rod, and glue everything back in. So I didn't want to do that. So I took my time, got it free, leveled the neck up. Frets was rocking, so I had to do a fret level, a recrown, and then a polish with my version of the Fretzler. So, you know, and you got to do it. I did it 400, 800. I actually went quite a bit on this one. I went 400, 800, 1200, 2000, 25, 3000, 5000, 7000, and then 10,000. But as you can see, they look like mirrors. They look like brand new. So that took, you know, by the time you go through every fret with every grade of sandpaper, which that's another thing. No polish compound, no more covering the fretboard up to do the frets. You eliminate all that. You don't have, you know, hit it with the Dremel and the polish compound. You got the polish compound sprays everywhere. When you use that, or the Fretzler itself, the original Fretzler, if you're lucky enough to find one, right here, and it says right there. And what this is basically this, but instead of having to hold the sandpaper with the hand, and then when you move it, when you do a space, you got to sit here and kind of pull it to get a new section on, and then use it again. This, you use it, and then after you use it, twist the handle here, bam, bring up a new section, bring up a new section, a lot easier, a lot quicker. Store the sandpaper in here. Now, I didn't originally design this. It was funny because this is, when I only had this for a couple weeks and used it on a bunch of guitars, and I thought, man, if you could hold the sandpaper on here and move it without, it'd be great. So then I found this. I did make two little adjustments to it to get it to work. I got one more I'm going to make now. Actually going to make it, and it's, you know, wider than the fretboard now. But the bad part about it is, even when you get the strip, and Rich, you'll find this out. This is the sandpaper I was telling you about. That's how it comes. That's 10,000 right there. This is 8. Yeah. You can see how it sticks out past that. So you have to, you know, fold them over, trim it so it fits. And here's another thing you got to watch. When you trim it, you got to make sure it's down in that slot. So this goes down in there. Clicks in, bam, there you go. So my next one is to make this same thing, but make it that wide. So this unit will be that wide. This rod that comes through to take up will be that wide also. And it really wouldn't matter because it's already wider than the frets anyhow. So that will avoid the cutting part of it. So I did all that, got the frets done. Then I went to I cleaned the fretboard off. I had to steam a bunch of dents out of it. And then after I did that, I had to basically level the fretboard again. And I use a radius gauge and razor blade, sandpaper, whatever it takes to get it level or where it should be. And then again, then did the frets again. Then I get it all done. I thought, wow, the only thing left is the nut for the Floyd. I thought, yeah, cool. So I started setting this up in the my fixture that I made to cut that across with the router so you can put the nut on it. Well, if you look, if I turn it that way, maybe that'll help. If you look, you'll see the truss rod nut. There's really no space to route that down. There was none there. So the only other thing I could do was I had to go up. I couldn't go down, so you got to go up. So I got the laptop on the bench tonight. That was a mistake. You put the nut on, and the angle of this head from the nut was sitting up like this. Instead of flat, it was up like that. So I could mount it flush here, but it pulled it about 1/8 of an inch from the neck, or from the fretboard, and had it more of an angle. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so now I have to build some kind of shim for it. Wood or something. You know, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I can get a little hard maple strip, sand it down, file the wedge, blah blah blah, you know, and mess with it till I get it right. And then it occurred to me, the 3D printer. So I walked over to the printer and came up with this one first. Wait, which one? Yeah. I'll show you this stuff in this box here in a minute. So I came up with this one first, and it would sit like that on the fretboard, on the neck, and that wedge would take up that angle, still leave that flat for the nut to go on. And I made this one. Actually, I ended up making one was thicker, was way too thick. Then I made this one thinner, and the angle wasn't exactly perfect on the first one. So as I made it thinner, that naturally pulled the angle down. So then I came up with this with the third attempt. Which one's thinner? Right? One of them is thinner than the other. Or that's the same. Anyhow, I made 3 different ones, but 2 of them is the thicker one. I'm all messed up. Okay, this one's a thicker one. This is the thin one. So I ended up making it even thinner. Had to make it thinner this way and a little bit shorter going in this way to fit the neck. So I got it, and that's what it ended up being. I put it on there, and voila, it fit perfect. So you got to drill through the nut, through this into the wood. So I put 2 little drops of super glue on this, stuck it on the headstock where it needed to be, which is underneath this nut, as you can see right there. Got it glued in place, just 2 little drops, just enough to hold it. Then I put the nut on there, clamped it left to right so it didn't move, drilled through it, which goes in turn down into the neck, unclamped it, and by God, it was right. I was like, yes, this is working. So the best part about this, even with it just with the 2 little drops of glue, if by any chance they'd ever want to go back to without the locking nut and without the fluid, which would be stupid because all that's routed out now, it still can go back, and the truss rod cover would cover the 2 holes. So you're good there. So I got that done. The tuners that were on it were junk. The only set of black tuners I had were a set of Jacksons. So I put the Jacksons on it. He wanted black because that's what was on it. So that was the only set I had that was black. The rest are chrome. So I did all and then I had 2 factory black single coil pickup rings that I had found initially. and they didn't fit these pickups. So I again went to the 3D printer and made some. But while these were printing, I looked around and found two more that actually fit these pickups and look almost exactly like the original ones that were in it. So I ended up using those. So this is all this stuff, these first two rows I've 3D printed. These are battery clips, 9-volt battery clips. So if you're ever putting active circuitry in a guitar that didn't have it and you don't want to route, excuse me, you don't want to route the body out for the actual battery holder, you can take this, and I got them in different colors because that's what was on the machine at the time. Now I don't think there's enough room in this cavity to do it. I'd have to expand this cavity. Well, now there is, kind of, as an example. But you can take this and set it in there. I can't get to the ground, the bottom of it, but and screw it in. Or just do one through the middle, and that would hold the 9-volt battery in place. A lot of times, what guys will do is they'll throw a 9-volt battery in here and they'll just wrap it with a little thin piece of foam and just throw it in there and let it go. That's works, but if by any chance it would ever touch any of the open circuitry in here, it's going to dead short everything. So it's always best to mount them. This one you kind of have to customize a little bit. I'd have to cut these two outside ears and drill a hole through the middle and mount it to get it down far enough and out of the way for that one. But I made those. You can even make tapered shims. These are Strat ones. Got them. Warmoth had some, so I made those. Or 4 Warmoth type necks. Here's another type of battery holder. This is more like if you want to put the actual slot in there, and you know, I can also print out the whole box that slides down in there. And then if you look here, string trees. Usually when you get a string tree, that's all it is, that size. And then you got 2 round pieces of chrome cylinder that go underneath of it to lift it up to the size you need. So a lot of times, anybody's ever put one of them on, you start screwing it in, the screw, you don't get it, it'll fall off, the little chrome cylinder goes flying, the screw goes flying. So you actually got 3 pieces there that you're messing with. So I started printing those, and I thought, well, wait a minute, I can make that longer. So I did it. I made a middle one, and then even a longer one, to eliminate that chrome cylinder. So now you just need a string tree and a screw, and I can make them any height they need to be. So, I mean, that printer has been a godsend. Oh, and I also made these real thin to thicker shims for a Floyd Road nut. So, and this is just part of it. I made this stand here to hold all this. These are removable and adjustable. And then well, I'll show the other one, I think. Oh, right here. Multimeter stand. Check it out. So when you set it, on the table, it's on that angle. You put the tester probes while it's plugged in, just stick them in there. Rich, a matter of fact, yours is printing right now, and it might be done here very shortly if you're still in here. And that's, obviously it sits I don't know where you can see it very well. Just sits like that. I have one here. I made a black one. I got it on top with the meter in it that checks where I check the output of the pickups. So, but that's it. And I put a little piece of foam in there just to lift it up just a tad so you don't have any interference with the bottom plug. Or if you don't want the tabletop one and you'd rather mount it to a pegboard, there you go. Print out the pegboard version of it. Fits in there. Oh, wrong way. Upside down. Stick it in there like that, and then your plugs stay in it, and you can stick them on the side. Then you can actually turn it like that if you want to, but if you know, depending where you got it, but it's tight enough to where it stays like that. So I mean, you know, it's I've made so much guitar related stuff. I mean, and the tools are, okay, string height gauge right there, if you want to use that. If you're drilling, you're putting new tuners on but it doesn't have the right drill hole to drill the hole, here's one that fits in the slot of the tuner peg, and then you just match up to whichever your screw place is and just re-drill the hole into it, get it started. String pooler. I mean, I got it's most of it, believe it, oh well, I do have some. Most of it I gave away so far. Here, there's some. And by the way, this is all going to be giveaway stuff. You know, the colors when I was experimenting with this stuff was just colors I had in at the time trying, but the new printer that I have now, I can do 4 colors at once. So okay, there's these. This is a 12. That's a 12 millimeter. Flip it over. 14. Now, yes, this is a hard plastic, but it's not made for torquing like crazy. But on guitar stuff, it shouldn't be torqued like crazy. So this works fine for guitar stuff. Under string or under neck. So, like, say I still had the strings on here, I could loosen them up, but I didn't want to take them off. Then I just slide this under the neck and put 3 strings here and 3 strings there. That holds them off the fretboard. Then you can clean the fretboard or do whatever you want to do, and don't have to remove the strings. Then just pull them back out, take it out from underneath of it, and you're done. Then obviously tuner adapters. This one works in either the drill or the 1/4-inch drive, I think. I've never tried it in 1/4-inch drive. Nope. It's supposed to fit in the 1/4-inch drive, but it doesn't. So it does fit on a drill, though, because Johnny's used them. Of course, I don't think you'd want to put it on a drill driver anyhow. There you go. And usually when I send a kit, I always send 2 of these. So, but yeah, I mean, you know, this, I always send 2. And then here's a string stretcher, and you'll put this end under the string, and then this sits on top. And this is, somebody designed that after the original string stretcher. So obviously it's not as big. I mean, I can make them pretty much any size. And here's the catch with these. I'm going to tell you now. This one happened to this too. These are great for wound strings. You can, what you do is you put the string under it. This goes on top, and then you kind of arch it and just slide it back and forth about 5 or 6 times. Not real great pressure, just, get a bend on it and start sliding it. And it works great on the wound strings. When you get down to the B and the E, and if you don't have a wound D or G, you'll start doing that. And what it'll do is the string will actually cut into that. It's not just this. It did it to this one too that I paid $20 for. I get 2 of them. I usually send 2. Yeah, here you can see right here. Here's one I didn't have it done. If you look right there, you see where that groove ends. And then here, you see where it goes down even farther. So what you're doing, you're putting on there like that, go like that, and then the 3 that are unwound, it'll slice into that. And it does the same thing to this one. So I always send, you can see right there, there's the 2 examples. I paid $20 each for, or $17 each for these. Now I can make them. So, so the best thing to do is also, you don't use just one. So I always send 2, because you use one on one string, because again, think about it, it's building friction and heat. So you use the one, set it down, use the second one, set it down, grab the first one, use it on the 3rd string, and then you can still do the other 3, just don't do them as hard, or you will slice into that. Does it on that, we'll do it on this one. And again, some more of these. These trim blocks. Tilt the trim forward and slide that under it. Let's trim there. I put the padding on so it doesn't hurt the body or scratch the paint. So this is all stuff. I'm making a whole guitar maintenance kit, and what it consists of. Now, what it consists of. First, I was just sending out just one of these, but because, like Mr. Mick, he's like, well, I have different size frets on different guitars. So the wide one, which is this one, they're all marked X for extra wide, and there's a medium and a narrow. So now, and these are like when I first started printing them and working on them, so they're not that neat. Look at the difference between that one. This the same side, the back side. So you can see the difference to now the newest ones. Look how neat that is compared to, compared to this one. That's the back side of both of them. So as I'm printing more, I'm getting better and better at it. So now when I make a whole set, you're getting 4 of these. You're getting the narrow, the medium, the wide, and the extra wide. I will put sandpaper on the wide one for you so you know how it works, which, it's very simple. You slide it, you roll the sandpaper up. It goes in up here, comes back around in this one, then you got to have a straight piece in there so you can feed it through this, because that on a design grips it. And then the sandpaper has to be cut to where it's below that little trough right there, so this clips in, but you'll hear it, and then there you go. So as you're using it, just turn it until you run out of sandpaper. So now when you get the maintenance kit, you're getting 4 of these, one for each size fret. You'll get 2 string stretchers, 2 of these, 1 knob puller, 1 of these, trem blocker. You'll get 1 of these. Again, it goes under the neck. 3 strings here, 3 strings there. Keeps them out of the way. You can clean the frets that way. You'll get 2 of these. And this is 12 and 14. Then there's one that's 11 and 13. Again, these aren't for like going out and trying to crank lug nuts off. They're just to tighten this stuff up so it works, and it will do that. This stuff doesn't get over torqued because it's metal on the wood. So that's pretty much the maintenance kit. But you will get like I said, four the fret polishers, you know. So you have, well, just like this right here. So you get that's what you'll get. You get the extra wide, wide, medium, and narrow. And they are, I mean, look at the difference. Because everybody, you know, most of my frets are either wide or extra wide. But that 58 Les Paul Junior or 59 Junior's got very narrow frets, narrow and flat. So you know, if I go take the extra one on it or even the wide, it's going to not do anything. So when you get the kit, you get 4 of these now. And here's the best part. There's 2 ways you can get a kit from me. You can either wait and win one, and I'll print it out and you can win one. Or, if you want, you can go on Amazon and buy a spool of filament, whatever color you want. Let me know if you're going to do it, and I'll tell you which one to get. And they're anywhere from $13 to $22. And the basic one that we use for this is usually between $13 and $20. And then and so you got at most $20 invested, and I'm going to make the whole kit for you. And if more of your guitars, like if you have multiple guitars and a bunch of them just take the wide, then I'll not only make the 4, I'll make an extra wide one so you can have 2 different grit sandpapers on it. That way, it'll save you a little time that way. And if you want, if you got a multimeter, I'll even throw a multimeter stand in there for you. Just like that. All from $13 to $20 your cost for the spool of filament. It's a 2.5 pound spool of filaments, what it end up being. So you can either do that or you can wait and hopefully you win one. I'm making the first giveaway set now. I'm making the first giveaway set now. Here's the 4 of these printed. Narrow, medium, wide, and extra wide. That's the only stuff I have printed so far. I don't have any other stuff printed in that color. So you'll have these. You'll have 2 of the string stretchers. You'll have 2 of the metric. You have 11, 13, 12, and 14. You'll have the underneck wire spread or string spreader. Knob puller. So you have basically a whole kit to maintain the performance of your guitar. You know, if a jack's loose, whatever, you can use one of those thumb screws and do it. Because again, you don't want to be on them and cranking. And there's also these right here. That will be included in the kit too, and this is for this type stuff. This is 10 millimeter. Oh, knock that off. 10 millimeter. It'll do that. You'll tighten those up. Again, you don't crank on them, so the stuff works fine. I mean, if you sit there and really, really crank on it, you'll strip it out because it is, again, it's a hard plastic, but it's still plastic. I don't even know what the hell I just knocked off the bench. Oh, the mouse. So that's everything you get with the kit. And again, you can either take a chance and win one, which next Monday I'll have all this done and ready to go. And next Monday will be the first full maintenance kit giveaway. Or you can just buy me a spool of filament, whatever color you want, for at most $20, usually average $15. I've seen them as low as $13, and I can make everything you need for it for that price. Oh, chat knocked me, got rid of the, there it is. Hey Laz, you want to join? I'll send you a link. I don't know how long the delay is. But Laz, if you're still here, I'll send you a link. But yeah, this is basically he sent me the tracking number. The tremolo and stuff will be here, and I get this done. No, BCG, there's none. And you'd be surprised the people that just, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted to, I've never done anybody, invited anybody on yet, or had anybody on. So it'd be the first time. I'm using the free StreamYard, and you are an expert at StreamYard compared to me, because you and Johnny run it. This is the first time I've only done 3 or 4 of them so far. So, that, and I made, all my tools are DeWalt. Down here it's 12 volt because they're small and maneuverable. Upstairs I got all 20 volt. So I made these tonight. And this, you can screw it upside down, sideways, whatever, and the 20 volt tool just snaps right in and holds it in place. So I actually have like a, it's a cabinet, like a pantry cabinet that I got I got like 20 volt tools in there, and they're just all sticking next to each other. So, but it's high enough that the opening's like this high. So I printed 2 to try them, and I put them on top, and it's cool. Now I can set the tools this way and upside down, so I got more room in there. And I didn't steal this. This was on Thingiverse, and they were free downloads. So, because all this stuff that's on Thingiverse is licensed, so you can download it and whatever. Oh, Andy, hello. Well, here's your guitar, my friend. 2 pickups here, 2 new pickups here, new one here. I had to route a little bit bigger and a little bit farther down to take care of all the damage. Look at your neck. Fretboard, frets, the locking nut on it. Got the Jackson tuners. The other ones were junk. I didn't destroy anything. This is shielding paint here. Shielding paint inside all 3 of these cavities. So Laz sent the stuff today. As soon as it gets here, I'll put it on and play it and send it back to you or Laz, whoever. So I will say it was a treat, because Laz is like, okay, you basically have to rebuild it, the wiring, but make it look like it's never been rebuilt. Make it look like it always has looked. So that was kind of a challenge. So, but these studs, the ones that were in it, were not in line with the neck and the pickups. They were actually down this way. Not quite. Let me see if I can represent. You know, they weren't quite here, but they were like right there. They were off like that. Down too far. So I had to plug the holes, re-drill them, and you can watch on Johnny's channel from Saturday, this past Saturday, where I actually laid all this out, did all the math, figured it out, and everything's where it should be. So it's all fixed that way. Billy Ray, hello. Hey, prayers, man. Prayers definitely going your way. So I had, Laz made me change it, Andy. I had this color felt in there because I thought it matched this pretty close, that decal. But he told me you'd want black, so I put black in it. I had this in it, I had to take it out and put black in it. No, it's not. So, did you put this switch in? Or is that factory? I know nothing about this. I've never seen one of these from BC Rich before. But it was off. I sent Laz the photos. It was off from the factory. There's no way it played good. There's no way it could have stayed in tune that good. And definitely no way it could have been intonated the way it was off. Yeah, I put the black back in it. You know, I'm trying to keep it look like it's old school, you know, because I was going to trim all this off all nice and neat. And I'm like, no. You know, after all this time, it's going to wear. After, you know, however many years, 35 years, 40 years. So, the whole trick was to make it look like it's never been repaired. The nut, as you can see, the truss rod nut, I mean, it's hard. This camera angle is kind of hard. It's pretty much towards the top of the wood. So I couldn't router that down to put the nut in place. So what I had to do was 3D print a shim that would go in there, take up the back bow of the angle of the headstock, and still keep the nut flat, and then go through all that to get it. So that's what I ended up doing. So once the tremolo's here, I mean, I can stick a special in it so you can see what it's going to look like. There. Now my next question though, Andy, do you want me to put stainless steel in the other one or just leave it all black stock? I do recommend the stainless because it's better. It's up to you. But that's what it's going to look like. So there you go. And now you'll be able to dive and pull back. Actually really far, because again I had to go a little bit deeper to get rid of all the chisel marks out of it. So, but as you can see, everything's in line now. Got the center line, did all that. Well, the stainless is the way to go. So I have a bunch of stainless sets. I'll put one in it. But that's what we're waiting on. I'm waiting on that. I can get it all set up, and then I will get it back to you guys. I had to. You weren't here, or not. Laz wasn't here either. I had to steam out a bunch of nicks and dents out of the fretboard, then make sure it was all level again, and then went through all the frets. I leveled the fret. I had to get the truss rod to work. It was froze, and it took me about 25-30 minutes to get that going. You don't just want to crank on it because you'll snap it, and then I'd have to remove the fretboard and put a whole new truss rod in it, and nobody wants to do that. So it took a little bit to get it going, but I got it broke free, so now it works. Got the neck all level, then checked, and you had frets that were off. So I leveled them, crowned them, then polished them, then treated the board. I don't know how many times. The thing just absorbed the F1 oil treatment. They took it in like a sponge. So, and you didn't lose. At first, I thought you was going to lose the S and part of the helmet, but you just lost the very tip of the edge right there and a little bit of the mouth here. But other than that, you see everything's still there. You still got your decal on here. You still got the decal on here. When you put it on, it all goes into place. So there you go, Andy. It was really difficult to rebuild a guitar to make it look like it never been rebuilt. However, you notice it is a little shinier and not quite cloudy. I can't help that. I got to do that to every guitar that comes across this bench. So there you go. We're all set, all adjustable, in line, placed where it should be. And you can, like I said, you can watch Johnny's show from Saturday where I got it taped up and laid out and did everything that way. Your pickups, the ones that were in here, I showed this too. This is like a already tinned wire. It's got solder on it from the factory. And when you use these and solder them, that gets messed up. You can tell it's been soldered. When I took these pickups out, these wires just went like this. Just slid out, and they looked like that still. Or pretty damn close to that. So they were never soldered or soldered correctly or barely at all. If they were, it was just the very, very end piece. So I found these pickups. They at first didn't fit because this is a complete, the slot here is pretty much this shape of the pickup, where these pickups come out a little bit like that, and I literally had to trim all that down to get them in there. So it's good to go. Yeah, he's a Raiders fan, apparently. I was going to stick some Steelers decals on that because I'm a Steelers fan, but after Sunday, like, damn. So, there we go, and you're pretty good to go here. Like I said, I'm just waiting on the stuff from Laz. Get it all put together and do any fine tuning or whatever. Hopefully I can put it in there and get it set up and fine tune it and it's ready to go. If not, I may have to shim the net, whatever. I'll get it going so it's playable and sounds great. Well, again, it was I had to put the Jackson tuners on because that was the only ones I had in black. But I mean, they work. The other ones were just I mean, I tried tightening the button, everything on them, and they were just like, they weren't very good. I have a bunch of chrome ones, but the only black ones I had were Jackson. But I left all this like it was worn and been there forever. So I just, did what Laz wanted. I didn't know if that's what you wanted, but that's what he told me. So you're good to go. And like I said, nothing got removed off the back. I mean, you still, I was going to glue that down. And I thought, well, I'm not going to touch it. That's how I got it. If he wants it down, he can glue it down. But you're good to go. Frets are nice, level. Fretboard is back to level, and all the nicks and stuff are gone out of it. Truss rod now works. Cleaned the pots. Once I get the tremolo and the strings on it, I'll check them when I play it, and if they need replaced, I'll replace them. If not, they're cleaned, so they should be okay. But if they're not, I'll just go ahead and replace them then. Just trying to keep it as original as possible. I don't think it had strap buttons in it, but I had a set of old ones that were wore in black. They were wore out, or not wore out, but wore, looked like they were road worn. So they look like they've been on there forever. So that's what I try to do. If that's what you want, then that's what you'll get. But yeah, it was a challenge, I'll say that. I even had to, that was something else. The curves where this pickup goes, let me see if I got one here. Yeah. Here's the same bridge pickup, same one. You see those metal corners there? That pickup would not fit in that body. So I took some off the metal on here. Then I had to get the Dremel tool right here with the little disc sander, and then actually open those corners up a little bit to get that pickup in it. So it's customized without looking customized, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I didn't want to move it all back here. This was from whoever, that was like an original route type thing there. I could have moved this back and got rid of that, but I've already had to make that a little bit longer and a little bit deeper to get that stuff out of there. So I just left that there. I mean, it's not, when you look at it, no biggie. Now the silver kind of goes, the stainless kind of goes with the Raiders helmet, so we're good. But that's what you're looking at. But yeah, you'll be able to pull back. Steve Vai pull back that way, that much, and dive it. So you're good to go. And again, if you look at the saddles, they're over top the pickup and in line with the neck. I couldn't believe how far those were off. Yeah, Laz asked me about it, and I said, sure. Worst that can happen is I say, no, I can't do it once I saw it, but I thought, nah, it's wood. So there you go. Once I get the stuff from him, I can finish it up. And Laz, your package went out today. Johnny's Kramer Hollow Flash body went out today. Rich, are you still here? Let me get, I bet that's done. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, Rich. Your multimeter stand is done. Here's the red one. And I asked Rich if he wanted one. He said yes. I told him all the colors I have, and one looks like a marble stone. He's like, I want that one. So here it is. I don't know how well the camera picks up, but it's got like marble flakes in it, stone flakes. So I'll put a piece of that foam in there, and there you go, Rich. You're welcome, sir. As much as you've done for Johnny and I, plus what you did for me and my family down there in the Philippines, anything you want. If I can do it, you got it. It's kind of neat looking in stone. So, there you go. These take like 45 minutes to print out. It's when you start adding extra colors is when the time increases, unless you do it the very last thing. But like if I wanted to put, just say 2 different colors inside here, say whatever color, just like it would do the stone print first, then it'd go over, automatically clears. It'll quit feeding it, but it'll quit taking it off the spool. The machine now holds 4 spools. So it would quit feeding off the spool, but it would purge the stone filament out of it, which takes about 3 or 4 minutes. Then it would pick up whatever color I picked, and then it goes about another 3 minutes because it'll purge through again till it gets the new color going. Then it'll do however much printing it needs in that color, then repeat the process. Stop feeding from it, purge it, go back to the whatever color. So that's when you start changing colors on it, which I could make it look like, I did vampire jaw, and on the 2 teeth, the 2 fangs on the bottom, I got red, so it looks like blood running down them. And that went from a 48-minute job to 3 hours. Because I didn't do just the whole tooth red. I made it look, I had it run down like blood. So it would do all this and this little bit of red, then back to this color and a little bit of red till it build it up. Looks cool, but man, it adds time to it. So yeah, I'll get this out to you, Rich, tomorrow. Yeah, that said they work great. I have one up here on the soldering machine station for this one. I got it wrapped up right there. So this, I can plug it in, check the output, and then just plug it right back there. And the handle on the soldering station, I have this part under the handle, so it's holding it in place. Perfect. So, any questions, anybody? This is not going to be a 3-hour one tonight because this was all I had to really work on. Fact that we're getting 6 inches of snow tomorrow and it hasn't been above 30 degrees for a couple of days. My painting is out the window until, if it gets in 45 or 50, I put that heater in the garage last year. Then I can get it up to 65, close to 70 and do painting. But when it's down into 20, dropping into the teens at night and not getting out of the 30s, that heater is not enough to do it. So I'm kind of stuck with the season. unless I can get Bob over at the body shop to let me rent out like every paint job I have to do that I'm getting paid for, give him, you know, $25 to let me use his booth for an hour or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure out something. If he will agree to that, then it wouldn't matter. I mean, he literally, there's an alley and then a street, and then there's the body shop. I can throw a football and hit his body shop from my backyard. I have to order those two parts, Peggy, then that's it, and I can put it together. I just don't have the extra funds right now with Beth laid off. Although she did apply for a Homeland Security job today. Yeah, the nuts $20, whatever. There's two parts. I needed like $58 with shipping and everything, and I just don't have it right now. So, but again, so for next Monday will be the first guitar maintenance kit. You will get these four and everything else, and it'll all be in this yellow to match. And you can win that next week. I don't know how we'll do it if there's not too many people in these. You know, there's not too many people in my chats, and I don't figure it to ever get real big because I'm not advertising like Johnny. I don't plan to. It's just, you know, I'm on Saturday night and I'm not on Sunday. Then Johnny's not till Tuesday because he's usually out of town on Monday. So that's why I decided to do this on Monday nights, because I like doing it. But I have no intentions of making it a full-time job or even trying to make money from it. It's just, you know, just something to talk with everybody here. That's all. And so I'm going to finish the other tools that would go with this, all in this color yellow. And then next week, next Monday, at the end of the show, if I just have to write down everybody's name on a piece of paper and put it in a hat and draw it, that's what I'll do. You know, I'll do that if that's what it takes. However, because I don't know, Laz, is there the free one? You get the name thing though, right? On as I'm using the free StreamYard. So, but however, if I have to put the names in a hat and draw them that way, I'll do it. So we can get it, get that. So this will be the first giveaway of the guitar maintenance kit next Monday here on Bench Talk. That's the only name I can come up with. I know it's not anything catchy. It's nothing, you know. But again, I don't plan on making this anything big. You know, it's just a filler in between Saturday and Tuesday, and gives me a chance to still talk with you guys for an extra day. Mr. Mick, yeah, you can do that, and you'll need, let me see. I may not have anything here. It's probably all out in the garage, and right now it's like 18 degrees, so I'm not going out there. Our snow is supposed to start sometime between midnight and 3 and go till tomorrow sometime during the day, and they're predicting up to 6 inches of snow here. I'm looking through. I have a bunch of containers full of parts, and I don't have. You know what? Wait a minute. No, shoot! I just sent that to Johnny. Oh, I'll give you guys another hint. No, I can't even do that. I can't show you there either. what you can do is there are those connections, and what you could do technically is like come out off the jack here. Well, you wouldn't need to do it off the jack. So you'd have to come off the ground, and then the hot wires for the pickup, and put like the female end on them, so they're permanently in the guitar, and then the male end on the pickups. And you can pull them out and just plug them in. You can do it that way. So it's not that hard, but it can be done. But I had the plug and play stuff. I sent that to Johnny. That was in that box. I sent him last week. So, and here's a hint for those of you especially who play Strats. The Strat style tremolo, or a regular hardtail tremolo or bridge with looks like like something like this. It'd either be without the bar or with the bar. But when you have those Allen screw adjustments, what happens if you get those low enough, the factory ones will stick out, and as you're playing, they'll catch and rip your hand. Here's the solution, everybody. MonsterBolts.com. They sell them for American and the imports, and from 4 millimeters to 12 millimeters in length. I usually get the 6, and you can get the adjustment set to where you need to be. Like this one's not. But you get the adjustment low, and they don't stick out. MonsterBolts.com. I am not affiliated by them or affiliated with them anyway, but it's like this set right here. Okay, this is for, what's this say? It's a guitar M3 10 millimeter. That's the longer ones. Here's 8 millimeter. See how they're shorter? And then there would be some 6 in here too. Right here, 6 millimeter. You're talking $1 something for all those. It's not that expensive. It's monsterbolts.com. And I'm not even going to say tell them I sent you, because they have no idea who I am. I'm just a guy that buys their bolts all the time. So you can adjust that, get your action low, and not worry about tearing up your hand. It works for Wilkinson bridges, any type bridge that has that type of adjustment. And then they make all the Floyd Rose stuff too. You can buy the kit, and it consists of the 3 stainless steel nut screws, the 6 stainless steel saddle screws, what else? And it's only like $1.99. They're not that expensive. Well, I don't know if I have a whole kit. What I do is I separate them. So this is, it'll say guitar Floyd Rose set. You get a locking nut and saddle set. Then you get these stainless. They're the real nice, shiny, smooth stainless. Then you get the 6 saddle string or screws. I got so many Floyd parts. Yeah, here's the saddle screws. They're the same. So you get you get a set of 6 of those and the 3 nuts for $1 something, close to $2. Or it may have went to $2.09 or something like that. But still, if you bought the regular non-stainless Floyd ones, you end up paying more than you would do for that stainless. So there you go. Peggy, do you need some of those blocks? Look here. Hold on. You need some? I'll send you some. There's more. I sent a bunch to Dane about a year and a half ago. If you need some, Peggy, I'll send you some. I got your address. Lowe's. Just go to the electronics section of Lowe's, and I don't. Dremelstone. Man, I don't have. Yeah, you just got to go to Lowe's. Excuse me. Go to Lowe's to their electronics. And look, and they're usually in a container about that big with like 6 to 10 trays in it, or separators, and there'll be different sizes. You just need the little ones. But the reason you have to make sure the female end is I don't have any down here. I wish I did. Other words, the end that you're plugging into, the female end, make sure it's completely covered. With there's some it's just metal to metal, and the only plastic on them is just where the wire is attached. Then there's some that the male one is just still like that, just where the wire is attached, it's covered in plastic, the rest is bare, but the female end is completely encased in plastic. So that's the one you need to get, so it doesn't touch anything and short out anywhere. But the best thing that would be is to put the female end in the guitar and put all the male ends on whatever pickups, and you just swap them out and plug them in. Because believe me, if one of those pieces of metal touches anything in there, it's just going to go dead. I don't see. I'm not even on this shelf. I don't have any. No. Thought I did. Nope. Sorry. Any other questions? We can go another 15 minutes or so. Yeah, any like Home Depot, Lowe's, Harbor Freight, Menards, any place like that. Any other questions, comments, and or concerns? So again, Laz is probably gone, but Laz, your set's mailed. And then next Monday, we'll give that maintenance, that'll be the first one giveaway. And I'll probably do, instead of one every week, at least once a month, if not twice a month, I'll do it. Might start out once a month for now, and then go to twice a month. Be like the first week and the third week of the month. Rich, I'll get this out to you tomorrow, sir. No, they're just wire connectors. They're just small wire connectors. Just make sure the female one's completely covered. Rich, you're welcome. Yeah, just make sure the female one's completely. There's no bare metal exposed on that one. Because the male one, once you put it in there, it'll be covered. That's why I said put the female one in the guitar and leave it in there. Oh, I can also make these if anybody wants one. Neck rest. Actually, it's not as high as this one. I didn't want another high one like this. There you go. Actually, I might even end up throwing one of those in the guitar kit. Laz, your kit's coming, but there's a couple extra things in there for you. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but they're kind of like what Rich, don't you tell him, but it's kind of like what I got you, Rich, did for you. Billy, you need one? Okay. Actually, I have a couple different designs. This one is this way for electric, and you can turn it this way for an acoustic. You're welcome, sir. And again, prayers to you and your family. So, that's pretty much it. So I'll have all that rest of that stuff made this week. Next week I'll show it, and then we'll give it all. We'll draw, and whoever wins it wins it. So, again, this one's going to be a little bit shorter tonight. So, but because now next week I'll have some other stuff to work on. But this, I basically finished it up until the parts get here. So there was nothing else to do. That's why tonight's a little shorter. But I do want to swap some pickups around. I got like 3 I want to swap pickups in. So I can do that, and then I'm sure something else will show up. The one band that I do the guitars and bass for, they just did a show Friday. So I'm sure I'll be hearing from them within the next week or two about going through their instruments and clean up and strings and setting it up again. So, and then of course I do Faith and Failures and Bolt Actions. So I do guitars and amps, or guitars and basses now for 3 bands. So that's pretty much it for now, everybody. Thank you so much for I'm grateful to have everybody here. Again, this is like a in-between Saturday and Tuesday show for me. I know Johnny goes live pretty much every day. But I only do it when him and Laz invite me. So, well, thank you, Peggy. I try. I'm by no means the best in the world, but I'm also not the worst. So, again, there's always somebody better, but then again, you're always better than somebody. So it kind of evens out there. And again, I'm just here to help people. That's all I need to do. Yeah, I know. I know the one of them that I really liked, Laz. So, all right, everybody. So thank you for hanging out and listening to me rant. Well, not rant. Listen to me. No, I didn't rant. Listen to me talk. I meant to say ramble on, not rant. So. Anytime you guys need any help, feel free to just email me. If you want to send a spool of filament, I'll make anything you need. Or if you want to take a chance to win stuff, that's up to you. Other than that, I'll see you guys on tomorrow's Johnny Bean show. And with that, adios. Thank you, everybody.